I don't get it. The Pop Culture Get Off My Lawn cast. Welcome to us. This show features the open-minded musings of two early 50s curmudgeons, staring at the prospect of entertainment relevance. I'm your co-host, Bill Scurry. Something called American Caesar Enterprises. It's a very real thing. It's a landline service which calls your Nana and Pop-Pop on the weekly, and it pretends to be you, sparing you the horror of being reminded that everyone around you will die, and that they're going to slowly fall apart in so doing.
Oh, come, you got to start people off with this, Bill.
It's the reality. It's what we're living with.
You know,
right
now. The older I get, the more I miss my grandparents. I didn't appreciate them when they were around.
Yeah?
Yeah. You never had grandparents you were close with, did you?
No, sure I did. I mean, one grandparent, my grandmother died in 97, but the other ones I hadn't seen since the early 90s, yeah.
My grandparents I didn't have much in common with, but they were.
I feel like I kind of look like I look like a grandfather now, you know.
Well, not a grandfather.
Great grandfather.
You look like a guy who becomes a grandfather.
I look like a drunk.
You look like a guy who's like waiting for his kid to have a baby.
I'm the uncle you don't want to talk to at Thanksgiving. That's who I look like.
Ironically, you're not. There's a lot more less talk-to-able at Thanksgiving uncles in this country than you. I will tell you that.
That's true. Right, yeah. Speaking of which, Thanksgiving is coming up this week, and as usual, I have no plans, of course, on account of living in mainland Europe. So there's not a thing here.
And there's no. You're in. By the way, folks, Bill's in Amsterdam, the Netherlands.
There's
no
Denmark.
Equivalent. There's no Dutch Thanksgiving, is there?
No, there was no Native Americans to expulse off their lands, so far as I know. So there's nothing to celebrate.
The essence of Thanksgiving, yeah. There's nothing to be thankful for.
No, right. It's just congratulations, we built a city on a swamp 600 years ago.
But lest we forget, last Thanksgiving we spent together in Amsterdam.
You know what? It was so atypical. It was a wonderful. Yeah. It was a week long. It was like an Olympiad. It lasted.
It was nice.
It started off with a trip here. We took the train to Belgium, and then we
We spent actual Thanksgiving in Brussels, but we spent time in Amsterdam first. And if I were you, I would go to Brussels and go back to. We found this restaurant owned by an American. And we went there for Thanksgiving.
It was like my family. It was like
nice.
Tex-Mex or Mexican or something like that. It was pretty good.
You know, it was Thanksgiving enough. There was
I'm not complaining
and all that nonsense.
It was
good.
It was taste of home. If home is Calexico, then yes, it's a taste of home.
But serious question to you. I mean, forget going to Brussels because that's a trip. Would you be interested? It's got to be somewhere in Amsterdam, a restaurant like that. A restaurant that's like, hey, Americans, come here because we're serving a Thanksgiving type dinner. You know, maybe a restaurant owned by Americans in Amsterdam. There's got to be something like that in a big city.
There is, and I think to be completely fair, I think I generally steer away from those things because I didn't come here. I didn't come here to be suffused with American culture.
I'm not saying you go there every Friday night, but I'm saying on Thanksgiving
to watch football and drink Budweisers and Millers.
Yeah, and open and spout racist stuff to your non-binary niece or nephew, non-binary nibbling.
The Dutch do that pretty well on their own. They got the whole racist.
Just be the worst American uncle you can.
They know how to dead name. It's just their names are things like Jorg and Jaap and Hans and stuff like that.
No. I am very proudly not that uncle. I'm very proudly the uncle people look forward to seeing on Thanksgiving. So, anyway, but who am I? My name is Noah Tarnow. I'm the founder and the senior quizmaster of the Big Quiz.
Will you, for God's sake?
I'm doing that. Okay. Just stop interrupting me. I'm trying to. I'm the founder and the senior quizmaster of the Big Quiz Thing, the trivia game show spectacular. I am, I'm not going to Europe for this Thanksgiving. I am in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you're off site. For California, you're in the not California you're usually in.
This is where I spent Thanksgiving 2 years ago. But I'm here. I had a big quiz thing event here, week and a half before Thanksgiving. So I said, hey, I'll stick around. So I'm chilling out in Los Angeles, the city that means well.
The city,
I don't know.
The city,
it's not its nickname.
It's so nice they named it once.
So nice they gave it a very long Spanish name. So nice you spend half of your life in a car here. I like LA. I'm maybe the odd New Yorker who enjoys LA, but here's my thing about LA.
I'm with you. I love it. I love the place.
I love visiting. I don't think I could live here. Here's what I always said, especially back when I was like really trying to make it in show business. I was trying to be a comedian or something. My thing in New York was, about LA was like, I will move to LA after the deal is signed. I will not move there and hustle. You know what I mean?
Fill in the blank for what that deal is, but I get you, yes.
Well, yeah, when I was a comedian, I thought maybe I'd make it as a comic or, write for a TV show. And then when I, became a game show host and was aiming toward being on TV as a game show host, I said, if I get to host a show, I will move when the deal is signed. I don't want to hustle here because it's a different culture and it's a fun compared to New York and living in San Francisco for 10 years. I'm still a New Yorker. It's a fun culture. It's an exciting culture, but I don't know. It's a city that was built by Hollywood set decorators. So it is both literally and metaphorically very facade heavy.
It's a suburban urban, like there's very little urbanity.
I don't know what that means.
There's very little urbanity about it. It's odd for a place with so much concrete and cement and asphalt. It feels generally like an enormous suburb, almost like there are parts of it almost quite rural, even though you're in the middle of a huge...
It's very spread out.
Yeah.
It's very spread out. And it is, I noticed this last night driving from Santa Monica to Inglewood, to see friends, and like you're on the highway and you might as well be driving through, the California hinterlands.
And that's just
even though you're still in LA.
It's just 2 miles and it's about 98 minutes apart from each other.
Yeah, well, it depends what time of day you go.
So. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a lifestyle, folks. It's a lifestyle.
It is.
Speaking of lifestyle,
speaking of Los Angeles, which was one of the names of the names of our subject's first album, right. No less, too.
Yes, we're talking about the classic punk band X, featuring John Doe and Exene Cervenka. No, Bill, tell us about the. Is it accurate to say Latin pop sensation?
Yes, there's a lot of questions.
It's a debate.
There's a lot of debate.
I think what is accurate, the Spanish pop sensation, certainly the pop sensation, but even the pop sensation is, that's not a straightforward thing to say.
Guess so, yeah.
The musical sensation that is Rosalia.
Rosalia, as I like to call her incorrectly.
Rosalia. But some people are named Rosalia, right? Some people pronounce that name Rosalia. She's Rosalia. The accent aigu is over the I.
That is true. I don't have that in my document, but I will. All right. So this is
Rosalia.
Rosalia Villa Tobella, born 25 October 1992. She's a Catalonian Spanish singer and songwriter. She's been described as an atypical pop star due to her genre-bending musical styles. So she was enthralled by Spanish folk music. I'm assuming we can pretty much guess what that is. I'm not really expert. A
lot of mandolins, I imagine.
Yeah.
Mandolins. No, what's the little guitar?
Dobro, is that one of them?
Is dobro Spanish?
Yeah,
I always thought dobro was like an American country music instrument.
That's a good question. Anyway, she studied musicology at the Catalonia College of Music. She would gig at bars, she would gig at weddings, and that was like a really rich undergrad, a bunch of people. She met a lot of people who she continued to vibe with, like real hungry musicians. She completed her studies with honors. And then I think that like her thesis, or at least she was putting together her first album called Los Angeles, that's why we got into the subject, which in Spanish translates out to the Angelus, I believe. So that was 2017. Her second album was called, and I cannot pronounce this, El Mal Querer, but I don't think...
It means the bad desire.
Okay, thank you for translating. It was 2018.
You're welcome. That's what I learned from 2 years of Duolingo.
I know, Duolingo. Not helping you out here. She got the Latin Grammy Award for Album of the Year. She was in Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. That's pretty wild.
Those lists are bull. You know my thing about all those lists. Sure. When people go play, Rolling Stone said this for the top 20 guitarists, the top 50... blind musicians, whatever. Those lists are garbage. It's 6 guys sitting in a room. That's it. Don't get excited.
Now, they can't afford all 6. It's just 5 now, That's the thing.
Yeah, now it's 5 guys sitting in a room.
So the reason why we're invoked today. The reason why we're getting together, all of us, all good men, we're having a minion because we're on the eve of, not the eve, it already happened.
Hey, but a religious reference is appropriate here.
Yeah, she's very syncretic when it comes to faiths and things like that. So we're talking about her 4th album, Lux, which is that light? I believe it does mean light.
It means light,
Lux. And so there was this.
I don't think it's pronounced Lux though.
Lux. Yeah,
Lux. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
You pronounce it like we're talking about multiple Skywalkers.
That is true, Lux.
I don't know.
So it's blasted.
Disclaimer, folks: our Spanish is miserably bad, so don't expect anything approaching accuracy.
It's not one of my points of pride. I don't even give a fuck.
No.
So it blasted through a bunch of records, sales records for
It came out earlier this month, right?
Yeah, right. It has just dropped essentially, and we were both none the wiser. We had no idea. It's been acclaimed by critics for its fusion of art pop and classical elements. So, throughout her career, very quickly, she's accumulated 13 number ones in Spain, most for any kind of artist. She's got 2 Grammys, 11 Latin Grammys. I forget, I don't get why why Grammys have different, what does Latin mean? And why is there a Grammy just for Latin?
It's the same reason they're Emmys and daytime Emmys. I always thought that was special ed class for Emmys kind of thing. It's admitting that daytime TV is inherently worse.
It's the Emmys have to wear helmets because they're fall risks. I have no idea.
Yeah, so why are there Latin? I mean, have a Latin category. And plus there is a Latin category in the regular Grammys, right?
I believe so.
So why are there Latin Grammys?
Dude, you're asking the wrong guy.
It's bullshit.
So yeah, Luke's Lux dropped November 7th. The lead single was called Berghain. There's not a Spanish word, but I don't know how to pronounce this one either. No way it's
pronounced that way. I don't know how it's pronounced.
Berghain.
Again, sorry, anyone who speaks Spanish. I know your skin is crawling.
Absolutely topped the charts in the old in foggy old España, as I like to call it. So, became it became her first album to debut in the top 10 of Billboard 200 UK albums chart. It broke the all-time record for most streamed album in a single day by a Spanish-speaking female artist.
Oh my
qualifier.
God. Can you parse that? Whoa. Most. Think about how specific that is. Most streams in a single day by a Spanish female artist.
Yeah.
Again, why are we rating this stuff I'm not saying that's not impressive. I'm not saying I could do that.
You know what?
But I'm just holding it up as some great accomplishment. How much more do you have to parse it?
I set a record today for most sandwiches eaten by me today.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
That's how I parse that.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like we are digging to make it sound impressive. There are probably better ways to make it sound impressive. Just say it sold a shit ton of copies.
I can't, I don't know. This is look. A lot of this is edited from Wikipedia, so it's also tortured. Whoever wrote
of course, so it's 100% accurate.
It's jerky. It's jerky in its voice.
Yeah.
So the album has been described as a genre fusion which blends elements of art, pop, and classical. As said before, it's been praised by critics for its ambitious concept around various female saints, which address themes of the feminine mystique, transformation, and spirituality, and it includes up to and including 14 different languages. The presence of 14 languages.
Yeah, which I didn't notice at all.
Metacritic gives it a 97 out of 100. Now, Metacritic itself isn't the organ, but Metacritic is an aggregator. Yeah, so it's that is as much as that's universal acclaim if there is universal acclaim. So Noah, I fed this to you. It was a layup. Again, none of us knew this. This was a blind thing.
Unbelievable. We haven't heard of this woman.
Anyway, so give me the
how the
raw
fuck
Tarnow.
Have I never heard of this person until this week?
Yeah.
This is. It'll happen to you too, kids. You'll get old. Popular culture will no longer apply to you. Recently, a friend of mine who's actually older than us posted on Facebook. He's like, I am officially old because I turned on Saturday Night Live and I had never heard of either the host or the musical guest.
Sure. That happened to us in the early 2000s. Come on, man. Wake up. All right.
I don't know if it's happened to me yet, but then again, I don't keep up with SNL. But, I hadn't heard of... I saw the cover of the recent new issue of People magazine, Sexiest Man Alive. I hadn't heard of that guy.
Who's that guy?
I've seen him, it turns out, but the name didn't. Jonathan Bailey. He's in the new Wicked movie. I believe, was he in Hamilton? Anyway, obviously he's in. What are the odds that the Sexiest Man Alive always happens to be someone with a new project?
But pivoting back to the Spanish language album, how about
this is important, man. Come on, part of what this podcast is about is keeping up with culture, and it gets harder and harder minute by minute, day by day, year by year. And the fact that this woman is hugely popular and we've never heard of her is relevant to our discussion. Okay, but yes, I will move on. I have, I should have re-listened to when we did Bad Bunny. I guess the last time we talked about a Latin pop sensation, because I'm curious what I said about that. I have trouble parsing this music. They talk about how it's this grand fusion of styles, including a lot of Latin pop styles. I can't tell the difference between urbano and reggaeton and flamenco. I mean, flamenco, I don't know. I can picture flamenco clothing and a flamenco dance, but I can't hear that. So when I read that this is this grand fusion of a lot of Latin styles, I have to take their word for it. It makes no sense to me. I can't believe I wanted to be a music critic at one point, Bill. How miserably unprepared I was.
You'd be in a different. No, I mean, you would have had a different organ. You would have worked your organ. That's what I can say.
Worked my organ, yeah, okay. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I speak no Spanish, so I get nothing from the lyrics of this music. 2 years of Duolingo in Spanish, and I got nowhere. I can translate el mal querer. That's literally it. Mm-hmm. But I can say that I find not just this music interesting, but I find sort of the arc of Rosalia's career interesting. I kind of moved backwards. I listened to Lux, and then I started listening to earlier albums. I listened to El Mal Querer, which is 2018. I believe Los Angeles was 2017.
Yeah, you got that right.
2020, she did a single with Travis Scott called TKN. I don't know what that stands for. And the video went viral on TikTok, and I watched that. And that seemed very, straight down the middle Latin pop with all the signifiers. She's there with the long fingernails and the braids and the tattoos. And I thought, oh, this music's perfectly pleasant and very standard. Though I will say pleasant is accurate because I find a lot of Latin pop to be abrasive and discomforting. And I find even back then her music to be, it goes down a lot easier from my point of view. But over the arc of her career, I really feel like, to my ear, she's improving a lot. She released an album in 2022 called Moto Mami, which is basically Motorcycle Mama. And I think the whole point of that is like tough, badass bitch kind of thing, right? And that album kind of starts what really flowers on Lux in terms of it is very, very experimental. I mean, this is not straight down the middle Latin pop in any way. The big single from that was
You're absolutely right.
Called Bulerías, which, my God, that song has almost a Celtic folk dance thing going on. Definitely you hear the roots of the religious theme that is all over Lux. Also, her voice really seems to improve. It feels more daring and stronger. One of my problems with a lot of modern pop music, especially a lot of Latin pop, especially female Latin pop singers, although this is true of a lot of male Latin pop and certainly non-Latin like rap singers, is like this kind of dead voiced kind of, I always feel like they're singing like they're on drugs or they're bored, which I find really kind of off-putting, very much like you're working too hard to convince me you're cool.
Well, that's like a lot of the mumble rappers. People, it's like that's one of the diseases rap is caught.
I don't find that very much. So here she is, like, if not belting, like definitely someone who takes their vocal training seriously and takes singing as an art very seriously. Her voice is very strong, very elastic. There's a song in that album called Cute, capital C, 4 capital U's, 5 more lowercase u's, lowercase te. I can't even classify that song. To me, it seems to be mashing up urban Latin sounds with piano torch song in a way that's completely alien to me. And then there's a song called G3N15, which I want to know what that meant. I couldn't figure it out. I did read a translation of the lyrics. It's about being isolated during COVID and missing her family back in Spain.
It has that name is the word genie, right? Sort of obscured with numbers is what it is.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I still don't really know why.
Don't ask me.
It has this weird haunted lullaby thing. It reminded me of your girlfriend there, buddy, Lana Del Rey.
Uh-huh.
But it seemed a lot more honest in that regard than the contrivances of Lana Del Rey. Then you move on to Lux, which is really, really an interesting record. Again, this is not the kind of music that I'm going to engage in a passionate way because I'm a total, rock guy. I've said that many times. The album has a ton of muscle. It's very powerful. It's very daring. I don't want to say almost operatic. It is operatic. I mean, this, to me, sounds like a fucking classical music album, like something you hear at the symphony. It seems to have left behind a lot of the standard Latin signifiers. The single for that, Berghain, that you mentioned, literally sounds like her and an orchestra on stage Carnegie Hall, but then it ends with some guy not rapping, but chanting, "I'll fuck you till you love me." Again, talk about an unclassifiable song. And then, of course, as you said, and as all the criticism is pointing out, the songs have the heavy religious elements. Religious imagery is extremely bold. Other songs have heavy melody, a lot more melodic. There's a song called La Perla. I don't even know Spanish, and I'm tempted to sing along with it. I mean, that really says something about songwriting. This album strikes me as how I feel about the best classical music is I like it, I appreciate it, I enjoy it. Hearing it in the background is not only pleasant, but extremely, extremely entertaining, but I can't engage with it. However, unlike classical, what I really love about this is it's weird. To my ear, it's weird. I use the word unclassifiable many times. This is a weird fucking record in a delightful way. I want to get high and listen to Lux. That is a really positive recommendation for me. So while I am not going to go so far as to say I'm like into Rosalia, and like going to go see her in concert, I think she's a marvelous talent. I think this is an incredibly impressive album. So, I'm not going to go out and buy it, but somehow nonetheless, big thumbs up.
Yeah, that's funny. You still managed to surprise me after all these years of marriage. I appreciate that about you.
Yeah, well, I'm a man of mystery. What can I
say? The nearest comp I can make to Lux in particular is like late stage Burn or Bjork.
David Byrne?
Yeah, David Bjorn.
Bjork is on the album. We didn't say that. Bjork
is.
Makes a guest appearance.
Yeah, they've corroborated or collaborated in the last couple of things. Collaborated, yeah. They've corroborated their stories at the same time. Yeah. It's funny, and we both shared. You shared the NPR podcast where
we'll get into that.
I know.
Yes, there's a cultural debate about this record and about Rosalia in general. Yes.
But in terms of,
I have some things to say about that.
In terms of like
presently
putting paper down and like kind of getting what the color of the room is when we're talking about this stuff, I didn't realize that this was the discussion that was preceding this album in particular, and people who were more familiar with the work beforehand. But it's interesting that they were like the idea that there was this sense that she was appropriating pan-Latin influence, right. As if there's some...
Because let's just forget, folks, Latino is different from Spanish.
Right.
Which, however, I'm sorry, one thing I learned years ago when I volunteered with Latino girls in New York is they refer to themselves as Spanish.
Yeah, their
cultural identity say, I'm Spanish. So yet, there is a difference between Latino and from Spain, which is what
they mean Hispanophone, the Spanish language, rather than
right.
Spanish,
the word Spanish has different meanings.
Sure, yes. No, you're right. Yeah, so but the discussion to read these people, listen to these people talk about there being almost like a bar in place from using salsa, reggae, Afro-Carib sounds on account of her and their thing. I mean, I guess on its face, she's racially a white Iberian, and a lot of the sounds she's using come from these cultures of darker skinned people who, in the history of the West, tended to be the people who were enslaved, closer to the people who were enslaved by her ancestors. Again, that's not my read on it. That's what was being proffered by these things. So, all right, here's the thing. Obviously, I'm not qualified to speak about any of that, but...
but qualified, again, it's just our fucking podcast, man. Don't cut yourself down.
This is why I'm happy you had I think your reaction to the music was very rational. I had...
Yours is irrational?
You know what? I kind of hate this. I kind of hate this style of music. It's diverse. But there's the thing, I think that the problem is, like you said, you explained it. I don't know how to engage with it, is what you said, but but you said it was something where it's in the background. It's pleasant to listen to. It's challenging.
Yeah.
No,
not just pleasant. It's not like, it's soporific, but it's interesting.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that all those things are right, and I can't engage with it, and I don't like it. That is the bigger problem. Is that it turns?
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, it turns into something that's like it's a wall of impenetrable signals, noise, sound, and information. None of it equals music to me. I know it's music. What I'm saying is that none of it equals music that I would listen to, because I just don't understand the syncopation, the strings mixed with the Spanish lyrics and the Japanese lyrics and the guy rapping at the end. And
I did not hear, literally the only languages I heard were Spanish and English.
German.
It shows you how dumb I am. There's Japanese in it?
Yeah, three-quarters of Berghain, Berghain is Bergen County, is German, which is there's something like, what was it, mine something, the thing was like, my pain is your pain. It was like being sung over and over again in German.
Okay, well, shows you how much it was in the background for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, again, I'm not disputing. It's obvious that she worked her voice. I can't tell the difference between the passage of time between her voice. It's obvious, though, that she's trained her voice. She has a lot of range, big time coloratura range, up and down.
I maybe it's not that her voice is better, but she's certainly working it more.
Yeah.
She's certainly being more daring vocally,
right? And as
her career goes on.
And that kind of thing, just as a side jag, kind of tells you that, I bet you there's a lot of people who could do the same thing, but the strictures that the music industry places on them means you cannot actually hear how good they sing, because they're not allowed to stretch. They're just not allowed to stretch. Yeah. But the thing is, like, again, the problem is it's like the Phil Spector wall of music. It just kind of feels like this is a massive wank off, which defies an easy listening experience for me. It's like a listening endurance. And as many songs as I tried listening to, it's almost like I was looking at calculus. Like, it sounds, and it's a lot of stuff, and the quality is indisputable. The strata of all the work between the production and the writing and the years of crafting and milling the music in a grist mill. And, my dad used to wake up in the morning and go out to the music factory and, grind it into a powder and then form it with his hands, et cetera, et cetera. Pero mi corazón nunca ha sido mío, yo siempre lo doy.
I take it she's not a mainstream music titan, but she's certainly a music titan, mainstream in Spain. She's certainly a music titan in the Spanish-speaking, sector of American culture, which is, not inconsiderable. But, one thing I said to you is, like, before the mics went hot, like, it's not like she's going to be on SNL. But you said she was on SNL backing up Bad Bunny. But it feels she's not mainstream enough to, like, be musical guest on her own on SNL. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Lux will take her there.
She was on Fallon 8 days ago. If that means
anything.
Okay,
well, but that's not as big a bar as... Look, I'm not saying she's not big, obviously. Right. I mean, we're talking about her. She must be huge. So why has she reached the heights she has reached, whatever those heights might be?
This, I feel like, is an easier point of conversation to have. This makes more sense to me. This is the part where we get to identify her as a cultural cipher, and I feel like she racks very intelligibly and easier for me. Because the thing is, it's symphonic, it's choral, it's operatic art pop, it's maximal. I feel like there's no half measures or sort of pussyfooting around things. If there's something she wants to attempt, she just turns the knob up to fucking 10 and gives it to you. She's toggling between 14 different languages at random. And it's like, did anybody tell her to pump the brakes? Probably not. If they did, she didn't listen to them. It's like, that's the sort of bold swings that you would want from... I mean, even the fucking Kings of Leon or the Black Keys, or I'm saying if anybody got the permission structure to do that, that's what you'd want them all to do, is to just give us the most of you possibly can. Put everything that you've ever come up with, that you've ever danced with as an influence, make it make sense and try to sell it to me as an album. And that's what she did with this. It's not her job to sell it to me. It's my job to approach the music. And that's where my failure or my inability, essentially, I don't have the enzyme it takes to metabolize this music. That's on me. It's fine. I think this, to me, the size of the sound and the kind of like gigantic Spanish boot that's coming down on the earth felt like it's the Avatar or Jurassic Park of music. There's hundreds of musicians, right? You got the impression there's a cavernous space filled with all these string section and the horn section just playing jagged syncopations while Rosalia sings, and she just belts over it. And she's accompanied by partners like Bjork or that rapper guy Los Tumor. I forget what his name was. He's from Miami. I thought he was like going to be a French rapper.
Los Tumor?
No, the guy who did that rap at the end of Berghain he's a Miami dude who lives in Italy, but he's an American rapper. But it's like, again, in one song you have like 17 different it's like mixing pudding with spaghetti with Coca-Cola and
Yum.
fucking pizza in one thing. And it's like, well, I guess you could put it all together if you want to. So yes, and if we have not over the last 6-7 years been engaging with the gigantic phenomenon of K-pop, where, I mean, granted, they have some English lyrics, but it's like you're talking about bands from the fucking peninsula are the number one stars in America, and they sing in Korean in a lot of cases. And the Korean culture, it's like, well, American audiences, younger audiences, and they've proven, and you don't need to be Korean to buy into K-pop. We've proven that there's a sop for these things. It's like there's an
audience for non-English pop music.
Yeah, and it's like, but across
certainly wasn't when we were short of 99 Luftballons in La Bamba. There wasn't when we were kids.
And Gerardo's Rico Suave was as
That's
Latin
right.
as we got back in 1989 or whatever it was. Yeah. So it's like, that there's enough. The toehold of your Spanish language audience in America, I mean, it's far bigger than that, but it's like that is enough of a guidepost. You're saying that's like that puts her over the top in America. It's red meat for a vast audience.
Yeah, the rise of Latin culture. I mean, I don't know if literally in terms of numbers, there are more Latino Spanish-speaking people in the United States than, when we were kids, but they certainly have more cultural cachet than we did. Look at who's doing the Super Bowl this year, right? Bad Bunny, right? I mean, he's as A-list as they get these days.
He's from El Salvador or Brazil. I don't even know where he's from. But
he's from Puerto Rico. The guy's a fucking American. Shut up, you racist. I mean, Latin music has gone mainstream. Maybe not Rosalia, but certainly. I mean, you bring up the K-pop thing. It's interesting. I didn't think of that. Simply the concept of singing in not English has shown that it can dominate the mainstream pop music sphere. And Spanish certainly has a leg up over Korean. I mean, a lot more Americans speak Spanish than Korean. A lot more Americans have Spanish-speaking heritage than Korean-speaking heritage.
Absolutely. Full stop. Yep.
She's a great persona for this. She's a attractive, sassy woman, confidently flexing creative muscle. There's a lot of appeal to that.
I mean, openly sexy on top of that too, with a banging body, all that shit. Sexily.
Yeah, she's all right.
styled.
I mean, I watched the early videos where she's doing the Latin pop signifiers, the long fingernails and the braids, and that doesn't really appeal to me. How do you wipe your butt when you have long fingernails?
They're press-ons. You get to take them off. Thank God.
You take them off every time you poop?
Only when you're in the show you put them on, but you pull them off as soon as you're after, so you can live a life.
No, but it's not just the show. You see women walking around like that all the time.
I've never
super
asked
long
them
fingernails.
I don't know.
What's wrong? This is the reason. This is why I didn't get into the good schools, because I ask questions like these. It's interesting that our culture. I mean, power is now being wielded by, in my opinion, the backlash to a lot of this, right? You look at the people who wield power in American society, American government. It's a backlash. It is very sexist.
It's a minoritarian backlash, no less,
right.
too.
It is very flattening of our discourse, simplifying, right? You solve a problem by punching it in the face. We're better because, we're more stereotypically masculine, that kind of thing. So it's only natural that would only encourage popular culture to push back. So, these lunatics can be upset that a Spanish-speaking guy is hosting at the Super Bowl, right? And I think that would only encourage popular culture to lean into the Spanish-speaking, the non-racist, the non-sexist, the non-creative flattening element. So I think trends like that only push something like Rosalia farther. But now I want to address the thing that you brought up about the NPR podcast we listened to. Rosalia, strictly speaking, as far as I understand the concept and understand the term, is not Latino. The NPR thing used the term Latinidad, which I hadn't really heard, which I guess encompasses more than, I always thought of Latino as like your heritage is from Central and South America, right? And you are descended from the mix of, Spanish immigrants and Native American.
But the Americans is the key operative term you're using here.
Americans, whatever. I'm not an expert on this. And obviously there are white Latino people and there are black Latino people. It's the reason those technical forms say, Hispanic or Latino is a separate question from what is your race, right? It's very complicated, and I certainly don't understand it inside and out. So she's not, by this understanding, she's not technically Latino. She is of Spain. She is of the people who enslaved, blah, 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 and conquered all of that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that to criticize her. I'm only saying that to point out that there is a distinction. So there is some criticism of her that she is, and you know how I hate this term, culturally appropriating by having long fingernails and the braids and the tattoos.
I knew you'd bring this up, but I was
parachute pants. Yeah. Now, you know how cynical I am about the accusation of cultural appropriation. I think cultural appropriation is culture. I think culture, especially pop culture, is finding what's laying around and combining it and mixing it and working it into something new. As long as you're being honest about it, as long as it's something you really engage with and you really enjoy. This is why, to go back to our childhood, I think it's unfair to call the Beastie Boys racist because they're white Jewish guys playing rap. They came by it honestly. This is the music they heard growing up. This is the music they engaged with. This is the music that stirred them creatively. So this is what they play. I think culture is appropriation. Culture is formed from what's laying around you. And I think it is a strength of American culture, and to a lesser degree other cultures, that we find what's around us and use it. And I'm going to give Rosalia credit that she's not cynically going, I'm going to appropriate all these signifiers of Latino culture and make them into something so I can make money.
No, she's genuinely inspired by them. They genuinely inform her work.
Right. But, you get to something like Motomami and then Lux, and she's leaving behind the more simplistic signifiers, the braids, the fingernails, bored-sounding voice.
Like Ice Spice, in those
right, in those early ones, the video with Travis Scott. So, I think if you want to criticize calling her Latino pop now, it's more criticism of critics. It's more criticism of the discourse, just classifying her as Latin pop, giving her a Latin Grammy as opposed to a regular Grammy, right? Also, I think it's true that most of her American audience is Latino as opposed to white, or not Latino, more accurately. So, talk about a complicated subject. My whole point here is, why is she popular? Because simply the fact that she speaks Spanish is answering a need in our culture, whether or not she actually is of Latino heritage.
Noah, would you have liked Rosalia when you were a kid?
You have to stop and think about how it's pronounced every time.
I did. That's just not my American English is overriding every single time.
I say I like this music, but it shows you how little I really engage with it on a conscious level, that every time I hear her name, I think Rosalie by Thin Lizzy, which is a very different song.
What's the Springsteen song? Rosalia? Is that the
Rosalia, come out tonight.
Yeah.
Rosalia, jump a little higher. Yeah. Senorita, come sit. Yeah, about falling in love with a Spanish-speaking girl. Yeah, how about that? It's a good song. No, I wouldn't like this if I were younger. It's too girly. It's too complex. It's too Spanish. My tastes were pretty narrow when I was a kid, and they're no less narrow, to be honest, now, musically. That said, and I've said this many times in the show, if I were young now, I like to think I would have more ecumenical tastes, simply because, like you said, there was more allowance for this kind of thing in mainstream culture. The fact that K-pop has conquered, the music world, the fact that Latin pop is more mainstream. I like to think if I were young now, I would have more allowances for things feminine or Spanish, or even more complex, right? But I don't know. This is, again, it shows you, as much as I like this music, I'm not engaged with this music. So I think if I were younger, it's doubtful I would be more passionate about it.
I think I kind of I suffer from a sort of misophonia. It's an intellectual misophonia, really. But if I don't love a music, if I don't love it, I sort of baseline hate it almost. It almost becomes like a grating experience. I remember, and it took me years and years and years to synthesize this theory, but it's like, if in 85, I'm listening to Rod Stewart's Love Touch on FM radio.
Oh, it's such a bad song.
But I know, it's like,
Rod Stewart was so bad in the 80s.
Right, but it's like, it's a bad song, and it's like, oh, also, it's coming out of the walls. Like, literally, it's sonic wallpaper, and you can't hide from it. And it's like, I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to it, but I hate it because it's bad on top of not wanting to hear it.
So for you, if you don't love music, it is an actively unpleasant experience to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh,
my good buddy Matthias says that he goes to concerts with his brother. Like, his brother will whip out tickets and say, let's go to a show. And he's like, yeah, okay. And he'll just like go to a concert. That's the first time he'll sample someone's music at a live show. And it's like, that is a level of adventurism. I mean, for him, it's not adventurism. It's just normal culture. He's just eating culture like anybody else. But it's like, it's such an alien experience. It's like, I kind of appreciate he can do that, but it doesn't work for me so much. And so it's like, yeah, as a kid, I mean, this is just too much to take. It defies easy listening. Everything about the genre, the bits and pieces of the genre, if it is even a genre, it's cross-genre. All the genres sort of seem like alien language. They're like things that were buried in the earth and you undig them in your backyard, like the Tommy knockers. There's a fucking spaceship sitting there. It's, it's the Latin sounds never meant anything to me. Again, it's like, I don't know how to engage with it. It's got all the charm to me of polka, like roll the barrel polka, or what is it? Tuvan.
Oh wow, what a comparison!
Tuvan throat singing, like those guys from the Caucasus or Siberia. It has good amenable listening experience as that.
Is the rise of can remember her name, Rosalia, and the fact that she's evolved from standard Latin pop sounding to this operatic, religious, musical, iconic figure. Is that in any way a sign of the apocalypse?
I mean, I kind of wrote something ironic here. I hope it comes across. It's like, maybe because something so complex, challenging, excellently crafted, and like I said, well milled, artfully made, strikes such actual gold. There's no disputing the level of success commercially she has, but also artistically, people are grappling with this. All sorts of critics. Both the Hispanophone critics, people who are just like white dudes who write for the New Yorker, it's like everyone's engaging with this at the same time. There are reviews everywhere, and it is striking, like a lightning rod. It is hitting all these houses at the same time. Maybe that's a sign of the apocalypse, that something this big and good and complex is making hay at the same time. It's like there is, I think, indisputably, there's a lot of like sewage and slop that's just like being poured out by record companies at the same time. And that takes up a lot of space in terms of like what popular music is expected to be and what they listen to. And so it's like, are people gravitating towards craft again? Are people gravitating towards excellence? It's like, unsarcastically, no. I mean, this is not a sign of the apocalypse. It seems to go countercurrent. The fact that something this complex, that's something this challenging, and again, it also has, to me, it still seems revolutionary that people are eating something that is in a language they don't speak. And I think we could say, yes, a lot of people speak Spanish, but a lot of people buying this and listening to it don't speak Spanish, and they are gleefully slopping it up. It really means something just to listen to the sounds of her art without grasping every maybe word she says as she's talking.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I really have no idea. Because first of all, I have no idea what she's singing about, most of it. I know it's just religious stuff and Lux. But, for all I'm willing to share my opinion here, I mean, that's sort of the point of the show. We share our admittedly less than fully informed opinion. My understanding of this is limited. My understanding of religion is limited.
Especially Catholic religion. It's all her thing.
Especially, I know some stuff, but I'm a million miles away from an expert. I'm an educated man, Bill. I have a liberal arts degree.
Yeah, you're from the Tarnows from County Cork,
Yes, exactly. we converted when we moved to the New York area. Because there were no Catholics in the New York area. I don't know. I agree with you. I think this could be a positive sign, but I feel so at sea here in terms of understanding this world that there's a possibility there's some major apocalyptic element that is completely going over my head.
¿Quién pudiera venir de esta tierra y entrar en el cielo?
All right, Noah, let's close this thing out with our last two our two rubrics, our topics, our topicality, our framework, our schema. Let's talk about jealousy and the other thing. But first, envy. Yeah. Give me the feelings of envy you have.
I mean, obviously, I wish I were as talented as Rosalia. I wish I could attract other artistic, creative, famous, celebrated people to work with me. I wish I spoke Spanish, right? I wish I spoke, I don't know. Does she speak these other languages?
No.
I
think she wrote in them by Google Translate. One would assume.
I speak English. I speak bad French. I speak 2 words of Hebrew and about 5 words of Spanish.
Do you speak bad English from the 80s?
Do I speak John Waite with long hair? No. I remember seeing that video for When I See You Smile. I really liked John Waite. I think Missing You is a really lovely song. And he's got a bunch of good songs solo.
He's got a really nice voice. That was a pop voice.
And when I saw Bad English, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's trying to be a shitty, sappy hair metal guy. I was almost sad seeing that video. I remember.
The Babies was even better back when he was with John Cain and the Babies.
The Babies were all right. Yeah, they weren't bad. Good power pop band. I wish I was offering what the world was hungering for. I wish, and here's the big one. I wish I inspired intellectual debates about culture. And I want to read a quote here. This quote is from, I'm going to mispronounce this, Xavier Gomez Garcia, Bishop of Saint Feliu de Llobregat.
Oh, him. Why didn't you say that? Okay.
Yes, which is an area that includes Rosalia's hometown of Sant Esteve Sesroviles near Barcelona. And here's the quote. When I listened to Lux and Rosalia speaking about her in the context of her album and the creative process, I found myself faced with a process and a work that transcended the musical. Here was a spiritual search through the testimonies of women of immense spiritual maturity, unquote.
Wow.
Now, other than the fact that I am not Catholic and not a woman, I wish someone would say that about me. I wish whatever. I'm asking, dumb trivia questions to drunk morons. I'm not exactly shooting for God level discourse here.
I'm sober at the moment.
Right. But I'm not asking you trivia questions. But I do wish that my work inspired intellectual discourse of this level because I'm an egomaniac and, I'm a fellow intellectual. So yeah, I'm jealous of her.
I had, believe it or not, in spite of everything, the last 45 minutes running down this album and shitting on this music as being terrible. I had large hopes before I started listening that I wanted to I was ready to catch the fever. Honestly, I picked this as a topic because I wanted to buy into it. I wanted to taste the rainbow, as the Bible says about Skittles.
Yes, exactly. The book of Skittles.
The book. Blessed is he who is the rainbow and eats them.
Blessed, yes.
Look, there's a lot of nerds out there. I heard Andy Samberg talking about this on his Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast, and he just sort of dropped it as oh, the cool kids are listening to this. The smart asses, the smarty pants, the people the cultural mandarins that I vibe with. It's this is what they're talking about. It's okay, I want to buy into it. I want, but it's as soon as I started playing it, the hopes were immediately dashed. I heard the first bar of Berghain County. I'm like, oh God, this is what it is. And it just, my heart sank because it's honestly not going to get any better than this. No matter no matter what part of her thing I listened to, it wasn't going to get any better than that. So the thing is, I want to follow the lead of the cool kids. Even though I'm 63 years old, I still have this want.
He's not.
I'm not. I there's still this pressure where, again, it's not like I'm trying to stay hip inside the game or anything like that, but there's a currency to this stuff, and I want to buy it. I want to like K-pop fucking vampire demon monster getters. I want to like this. It's those are the gigantic things of our time that have a Susan of challenge to them for me. And it's I'd rather feel like I'm on the getting it side rather than not getting it side.
Can't you like it? Simply the fact that you appreciate there's creativity behind it can't you be happy enough just liking it on that level?
Well, that the appreciating it and the like looking at the size, of the size of something.
You're saying you want to have fun engaging with it.
Yeah,
And the simple fact is you don't.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, dude. That's getting old. You got to live with it.
Well, I bet if I was 11, it would have been the same thing too. You know what I mean?
So you think if you were 11 now, I mean, I'm sure we said this at the time when we talked about K-pop Demon Hunters, you would not like it at all.
Maybe more so, but no, I would not be liking
well,
it.
that doesn't say good things.
All right, so where would you comp this then on the floor?
All right, so take Bad Bunny, because that's my Latin pop referent, even though she really, even I can tell she's.
That's you're doing Henny Youngman. Take Bad Bunny, please.
Take Bad Bunny, please. Times, I reference her over 1/8 of your number one crush, Lana Del Rey, Lizzie Grant. Times, and here's something I didn't mention before. You know how I said my favorite thing about Lux is it's a weird fucking album?
Yes, I remember that.
Do you remember the topic that I said I loved because it was so weird? Possibly the most contrarian I've ever been on this show.
Oh, man.
The thing I loved the most, even though mainstream hated the most.
Of 358 topics.
Right. Something that is almost universally reviled that I actually really enjoyed because of its weirdness. Remember that?
It's not Skibbity Toilet. It's not Waymo.
No. Although I do think Skibbity Toilet is well done.
It's not Chinese spy balloons. No, what was it? What are we talking about here?
Cats. The movie Cats.
Cats.
I thought Cats was delightfully weird.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the pros in its column that boosters gave it.
Look, I'm not going to say it's a great movie, but I'm still amazed about one of the worst movies ever. Like, all right, smoke a J and then go see it and see if you still see it. Bad Bunny times 1/8 of Lana Del Rey times 3/4 of Cats plus 14.318. And that's where you arrive at Rosalie by Thin Lizzy.
I would think that the fragment of the cat you're putting in there corresponds with the 14 somehow.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. The Bruce Springsteen song is not Rosalia. It's Rosalita.
Rosalita.
That's
okay.
right.
There you go. So I knew we'd get there by the end of it.
I do love that song. I'm embarrassed I didn't think of that.
I'm trying to weigh my aversion to the sounds against the clear talent. This actually goes to the question that you just posited to me before. It's like, again, how does one, not you, I'm not going to use the second person because that's weak language, Noah. How do I get on board, with the my aversion to the sounds cross-divided with the clear talent and skill and the refinement therein to strike a balance. And I'm going to whip out the K-pop Demon Hunters because that to me, I've had discussions on and offline with people about how I am being told that I'm incorrect for not liking it. I'm being told it is a good product. I'm being told that it is both a celebration of nerd culture, something well done, something that exalts in the same sort of genre influences that I do like. And I just can't engage with it. It's something that it's like, I walked away from that completely disinterested. And it's like, yes, it has all the hallmarks of something I should like. But the form of it was something that I ran away screaming from. I shot it in the woods and ran back to my car. So the clearest thing is to whip out K-pop Demon Hunters again and put that in front of the world like a fish on a platform, gutted for all to eat. That's the end of it. That's the last episode.
Goodbye.
So past episodes, you can look for them on Spotify, YouTube, of course, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play. Skeet to us at Noah and Bill Show. .bsky.social. Write to us at noahandbill.don'tgetit@gmail.com. Reviews, we love them. Just give us approbation. I am on the social media at billscurry.bsky.social. I'm on @WilliamScurry on Twitter. I'm @WilliamScurry on Instagram. And youtube.com/AMCaesar, where you'll find my personal video work that I've done, the stuff I've done for Atomic Abe, pop culture stuff, and you'll find the episodes here. Also, I'd like to plug, last week I did an appearance on my continued friendship with James Hancock.
Right. I got to listen to that.
Bears Fruit, I did a 2-hour podcast, a video podcast, but you can listen to it on YouTube, about the 50th anniversary of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is an American enduring classic, a very rich, dense text filled with a lot of ideas, and it's a real hallmark of where America was in 75. And we had a very spirited discussion about it for 2 hours last week. It's on YouTube. And here, Noah will tell you what to look for in his case.
All right, learn all about me at bigquizthing.com. The Big Quiz Thing, America's finest provider of corporate and private live trivia events. Going on 23 years. I'm in the thick of the holiday season, my friend. Busy, busy, busy.
THICC, thick.
You got it. Strike while the iron's hot. And there's always room for your events. corporate team building, fundraisers, client appreciation, bar bat mitzvahs, you name it. Learn all about it at bigquizting.com. We're also on Instagram on occasion. And I personally occasionally am on Instagram at the Noah Tarnow. And also, hey, I'm not going to announce it just yet, but next week we do have the rare public big quiz thing coming up. Get excited, get ready. Big event happening relatively soon. But
start getting excited. Begin to
start getting excited about the prospect of maybe thinking about preparing to plan for it.
Hasta el próximo episodio de nuestro podcast.
We don't get it.
A production of American Caesar Enterprises 2025.